Top of the news at 10 o'clock. A Charlotte County girl is rescued from a potential human trafficking operation. Hello again, I'm Chris Safati.
I'm Amanda Hall. The Hernando County Sheriff says the girl and another victim are in a safe place receiving treatment. But deputies arrested this man who they say paid an Uber driver to take the girl to Spring Hill. The Night Beat's Justin Case joins us in the newsroom. Justin, how did this start?
Well, investigators say it all started with a social media dating app, but they wouldn't say which one. They say 56-year-old James Houlis forced one trafficking victim who was being held at his house to communicate with this girl from Charlotte County and build a relationship with her. Now, the sheriff says that ultimately led to the girl from Charlotte County taking an Uber to Hernando County, where she thought she was meeting the other girl, not Houlis.
He stated to me multiple times that the victims should be thankful of him for what he did to them.
Investigators are referring to 56-year-old James Houlis. The young girl from Charlotte County says Houlis forced her to agree to a, quote, dominant and submissive contract, essentially forcing her to become his sex slave.
Many of them don't realize they're even victims. So there's a manipulation that happens between the trafficker who is grooming the victim for the purposes of sex trafficking.
Linda Oberhaus is the CEO of the Shelter for Abused Women and Children. She says children have to know that they can't be sure who they're communicating with online, and says parents should not let kids be alone with their devices.
Kids are more vulnerable when they're alone, if they happen to be in a bathroom, if they happen to be in a bedroom while their parents are sleeping, which is why it's so important for them, for children to not have access to electronics after hours or out of the sight of their parents.
Investigators say the girl, who was already being held at Houlis' home, was barely an adult and was likely a juvenile when Houlis began grooming her. An investigation is taking place in Colorado, where investigators say Houlis prostituted that young woman to a number of men.
A lot of times when you think about human trafficking or you see visuals, they talk about invisible chains. In some cases, people might say, well, you were free to go, but they literally didn't feel like they were free to go.
Investigators were able to track the Charlotte County juvenile to Houlis' home using her cell phone.
We have dealt with victims of human trafficking who are coming out of good homes, who are coming out of our communities here in Naples. And so the way the traffickers are able to get access to these young girls is they befriend them, and so they're considered Romeos, and they pretend to be this person's boyfriend. These young girls actually think these traffickers are their boyfriends.
Investigators believe there are more victims out there tied to Houlis. They are begging them to come forward and report what happened to them. But if you are a victim of human trafficking, or someone you know is a victim of human trafficking, we have resources for you on winknews.com. Back to you.